have you, I mean, I didn't see on the docket, but when is the next hearing per se for the Fat Joe defamation lawsuit? And I looked up the docket with Tyrone Blackburn. He's not due in criminal court for mowing over your process server until October.
Yeah, that's right. That's standard.
Okay.
Jury proceeding.
Okay.
But the fact that we're even having that conversation speaks volumes about who this person is. I mean, this guy is, he honestly, he shouldn't have a law license. And I say that quite frankly, based on not only the fact that he actually ran over, tried it with his car,
a
60-plus-year-old man trying to serve him with a lawsuit that he claimed so bravado that he would take and accept service. Of course, when they went to serve him, he lost his mind. First, he denied he was even who he was. But putting that aside, two federal judges in New York, and this is mind-boggling to me, have both not excoriated him, not chastised, excoriated him for being basically, using his law license as a shield for extortion. And for filing false claims and frivolous claims and misstating facts and misstating law and doing things solely to embarrass opposing parties. D. Coate is one of the judges in the Southern District of New York, who's one of the most respected, renowned judges in the United States. And she unloaded on him. Another judge, a separate judge in that same courthouse, referred him to the disciplinary committee because of his conduct. Something is obviously not right with this guy. Something is not right. But at the end of the day, we go back. We go to, we have August 1st, our first. It's a conference. Just an initial conference. But there are so many moving parts here in this case. Look, the one thing I will tell you is I've known Joe for 20 plus years. He is such a terrific human being. I mean, he's like the stuff he does for people.
Really?
And for underprivileged people. Oh, Joe is just a great guy. He's like a legend, but he's also just such a good person. And when this whole case was, seriously, this is why, not everyone should be able to have a law license and use it as a shield for extortion, because this would otherwise be called extortion.
Right.
If he didn't have a law license. And,
but,
that's hanging by a thread, because here's what happened. Let me just explain.
Yeah, please.
This was a situation where 15 years after the fact, some hype man, you know what a hype man is? A hype man is somebody who basically just hypes up the performer, right? Before the show, hypes up the crowd. Basically goes in coffee, whatever else.
Yeah.
Some hype man wrote Joe, how many years ago? 15 years ago, more or less, and said, 15 years ago, I was the one who wrote half your music and I want royalties. So long story short, Joe was like, are you kidding me? 15 years later, I wrote half your songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he ignored it because he wanted $3.5 million, by the way.
Oh, okay.
With Joe and everyone laughed that off. He then comes back with this Tyrone Blackburn.
Yeah.
And I laugh when I say his name because he's a defendant in a criminal case and he's a lawyer. It's mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But long story short, he comes back to Tyrone Blackburn. And with Tyrone Blackburn, they say, we want money because he wrote half your music. And also, we need $20 million because he saw you have sex with minors. What?
And that just at last minute, by the way.
It was the first letter and demand had nothing to do with that. That didn't work. So then you throw in the salacious thing, of course. Sex with minors, right?
Yeah.
Knowing just the allegation is crippling. And so they did that. To me, that is despicable. And it is something that really, before people have families. And when this happened, for example, to Jay-Z, I was outraged because, and I know Jay, and Jay's another spectacular human being, what he's done with his life and his family. But to have some low-level, bottom-feeding lawyer who couldn't, if they had to really practice law for a living, would starve to death, go file these frivolous complaints against celebrities alleging, sexual misconduct with minors. That's the big thing. Oh my God. Because everyone knows that's a career.
Exactly.
Killer, right?
Exactly.
And but the way you have to handle clowns like this is to fight back, but fight back hard. And we are going full court press. I'm going after this guy's license. I mean, this is outrageous what he's done. And it's not fair to Joe's family. And it's not true. Lauren, it is 100% not true. We've spoken to some of the alleged people he claimed that Joe did to. They never spoke to this Blackburn who said he spoke to them. They don't even know what he's talking about. So look, this is something that's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. We're in federal court. They don't joke around here. This isn't traffic court in New York City. So
you are going after Tyrone Blackburn's license as well. You want that stripped.
I mean, me along with federal judges. Anyone who does this should not be practicing law for a living because it's basically legal extortion.
Right.
Okay? You're using your law license to file a lawsuit claiming, give me money or else. Right? That's what the demand letters were. Give me money or else I'm going to file a lawsuit saying you had sex with minors.
And also this does really echo Lil Rod Jones's lawsuit against Diddy in terms of like, you owe me money for this music, and oh, by the way, you raped all these people and some of them are minors. Do you agree? It's kind of the same.
Same playbook. This Blackburn was involved in those cases, trying to bring cases until he got fired from those cases. You could not believe the amount of lawsuits from clients that we have that have been filed against Blackburn. What he said to one client in a letter, a female client, was, I will say this without exaggerating, the most vile thing I've ever seen written, talking about her body parts, or the smell of her body parts. In a letter to a client.
Wow.
Going after suing him. There's a mental issue, obviously, that needs to be addressed. And look, I hope he gets treatment. I hope he's fine, but he should be practicing law. I don't know what
I just want to know, before I just ask you about Wendy really quick, I just want to know about, like, this lawsuit was so long. He's got the craziest allegations, like Fat Joe watched him have sex 4,000. Where did you get the number 4,000? That's really bothered me here. Where does all this come from?
It's when things are fabricated, the facts don't matter. The truth doesn't matter. It's just a number. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Listen, you know me.
Yeah.
I'm a trial lawyer. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a trial beast, and I want a jury so badly here. I don't know if this case is ever going to get that far. And for Joe's purpose, we want to get rid of this as quickly as possible. But give me a jury and let me have a chat with a jury.
Yeah.
And this Blackburn, and we'll see how that works out for him.
I think you're right about that, because I couldn't even finish reading that lawsuit. I'm like, this is wild. Okay, so you said the next hearing for that, you said, is August 1st in federal court, SDNY? Preliminary. Ooh, okay. I think I want to be there for that. That's next Friday. Okay, so then while I have you, like, just really quick, Wendy Williams, is she going to sue Sabrina Morrissey, Wells Fargo, Lori Schiller? Who is she suing? Is she suing her ex-husband? What is going on? I love Wendy. Yeah. My chat loves Wendy. She is the best interviewer, the best human. I think about her all the time.
I'm about to see Wendy right now. I'll tell her you said that.
Oh my gosh.
But the thing, what's happened to her? Seriously, you just mentioned two cases of mine.
Yeah.
That are probably two of the most outrageous cases I've ever had.
Wow.
And that's a fact. Wendy Williams is in a facility. She's fine. Wendy and I have conversation. I've never had a conversation with Wendy where all of a sudden she's like, doesn't know who I am. Or she's, she's an award in a facility without freedom. Okay. She doesn't have freedom of movement, can't call who she wants. She's in a ward with people for memory loss, 80 and 90-year-old people who don't know their names.
Oh my God.
They cross gets the right of the green, and there's Wendy.
That's insane.
It's disgusting, honestly.
Disgusting. We just got here because of, I think it was, and I've talked to Sid about this. Once she stopped drinking, I think that was the issue, don't you?
This was all alcohol induced.
Yes.
She was a raging alcoholic. She knows that.
Yeah.
And she doesn't drink. So look, if you looked at that stupid thing that they did, Lifetime, whatever, that documentary, when she was drunk the whole show, right?
Sad.
She looked and sounded sad and horrible. But if you look at her recently and listen to her, and Harvey Levin, TMZ did a great, documentary on it. When he was interviewed for an hour.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a different human being than the one from 2 years ago. Okay? Different. Harvey was throwing current event questions at her, curveballs at her. She was answering everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But so it's not dementia.
Yeah.
Because dementia does not get progressively better. It gets progressively worse. Dementia only goes one way.
Correct.
Down. It doesn't go up. So, come on. It's just like, she was an alcoholic.
Yeah. I mean, is there even
alcohol-induced dementia?
Well, that's what I was going to say. At one point, they were calling it like alcohol-induced aphasia, and I'm like, is that even a medical term? That doesn't even sound like a freaking medical term.
I don't know. But here's the bottom. Let's talk like human beings once in a while.
Yeah.
She was alcoholic.
Yeah.
And the alcoholism was ruining her life and caused her to act irrationally, silly, saying things that were incoherent. That's what happens when you get
right. Okay. And
she doesn't have that issue anymore.
Are you talking to her ex-husband at all? Because I think he filed. What?
That's another joke. I mean, here's a guy who was not only abusive to her and whatever in the literal sense of that word. But just not someone who cared about her, like abandoned her, did all these things to her, and then is now filing as a friend of Wendy Williams.
It's weird, right? It is weird.
He has no standing at all to file this. None.
Yeah,
None whatsoever.
I did see that.
But yet he's filing a lawsuit like he cares so much about Wendy. He wants money. People are really.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
Yeah, I mean,
and strange is a nice word. I think you know what I'm trying to say. But
I do. He's trying to say that his son felt threatened by the judge. And look, Joe, you work with a lot of these state judges. I don't know. I know you do work with them, so you can't say much. But the judge was kind of under some scrutiny as well. And there was.
As she should be.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
By the way, I guess most of us can't say much. I'll say how I feel. She should be. I mean, the fact that this judge actually, in the middle of her hearing, that had nothing to do with Wendy's future, her outlook, it was a hearing where there was another witness. Her niece was a witness.
Yeah.
And the judge out of nowhere, with Wendy sitting there, said, "Look, Wendy Williams had a great career, but we know that's over, and that's never coming back." How can you say that? How mean? How mean is that?
What?
Wendy couldn't respond. But what it also shows, Lauren, is this judge has made up her mind already. So in other words, she has no chance to recover. So why is she sitting in judgment? When you're a judge, you're supposed to have an open mind.
Yes.
Listen to all the facts before you render a decision. That statement that she made rendered a decision. So she's already determined Wendy's finished. But she's sitting there in judgment of her. I mean, it's just that
I'm horrified.
The whole thing is upside down. It's horrifying.
It is.
I'm not a guardianship attorney. I'm not a guardianship attorney. I'm Wendy's personal attorney. This guardianship world is insane. Once you get stuck in the vortex of a guardianship, God forbid anyone of us ever do, good luck.
Yeah. It could happen to anyone, though. It could happen to anyone. I mean,
Wendy can't get out. Like, Wendy can't decide she wants to challenge the lawsuit against her ex-husband. Wendy can't decide she wants to, I don't know, go down to Florida to see her niece.
Yeah.
Wendy can't do it. Wendy can't do it. She needs permission from another adult who has, not exactly the same interest. It's a horrible thing. There are felons, convicted felons, who have way more freedom of movement than Wendy Williams does. Think about that.
I can't. It drives me insane. And I just saw her looking so happy out with Suzanne Bass for her birthday. It honestly, it made me so excited for her. And for a second, I had to look up. I'm like, wait a second, is she still being kind of held against her will here? And she was. And so I was sad.
She had to go home.
Yeah.
Check, go back to her little cell. I mean, it's insane to me.
So when are you going to start? I mean, have you filed any motions with this? Like, where are you at with this case of freeing Wendy?
What I'm lying in wait for is a jury. Because this will be the quickest verdict in my career, without question. I mean, the Rocky verdict was pretty quick. That was a 1-hour verdict after 4 weeks of testimony. This one will be a 4-second verdict. I mean, there's not a jury in the world that will ever say Wendy Williams needs to be under guardianship, needs to be in a facility.
Right.
I mean, but it has to. There's a process to get there with this guardianship stuff, and that's why I honestly, the guardianship work is not for me, because it's just not right, and it's not. So, but I'm gonna be there for him. Obviously, she has guardianship lawyers. I will be doing everything I can do to make sure she gets out of this thing as quickly as possible. I'm a little more aggressive than most, and I want her to push her lawyers to get this filed. I mean, they seem to be just waiting, but for us, it's great. We wake up every day, do what we want to do, go to work, come home, go to dinner, see our families.
Yeah.
Wendy's in that thing every single day.
Oh, I mean,
to me, it's like you need, seriously, someone has to step in and say, this is enough's enough.
Yeah, everybody in the chat is saying, let's go, Joe. We're counting on you, Joe. And just so I understand, when you say you're waiting on a jury, you mean Wendy's attorneys right now are getting all of the filings in place. They're going through the motions with the judge, with the court. And so, I mean,
I like to move. If we make a decision to go forward, I like to move. But it's
Yeah.
a little different here.
Okay.
It's a guardianship proceeding. But, look, I'm pushing our guardianship attorneys to move this thing along because it's just people seem not to really comprehend that.
Yeah.
It's not just the case. She's there against her will every single day until this is resolved.
Oh.
It's been years already. It's been years. So
I just can't. So literally, Wendy will have to endure this for, probably a year and a half longer. I mean, that is so, I'm angry. I'm so angry. And we all forget about this. Like,
you should be.
Yeah.
You should be. I am too. I really am too. By the way, speaking of which, I got to run because I do have to go. She's waiting for me. I don't want to keep her waiting.
Okay. Yeah. Please tell her that we love her. And Joe, I would love to have you back on for a formal sit down. I'll text you at another date. I so appreciate your insight. You are a freaking rock star, man. Go get it. All right.
Okay. And Lauren, it was a pleasure to be on your show. It really is.
Thank you so much, Joe. We'll be in touch. Bye.
Okay.
Bye.